Hello, everybody that's watching the replay. My name is Tatum Tamia Ayomike. I am the CEO of Anchor Media and the host of the Blessed and Bossed Up podcast. We are getting ready to go live with one of our clients, Rosalind Renee, to just talk about podcasting, talk about her experience working with Anchor Media, and of course, talk about our retreat that's coming up. Hello, everybody that's joining in. Hello, everybody. Let me find me a filter because your girl looks rough today. Y'all was on my last live. You know, we got to find a filter that makes you look all right, but don't change the way that you look completely. Hey, let's see what we got today while we wait for Rosalind. No, I don't look like that. Next. Okay, I like this. This still looks like me. Let's keep this one. Hey, Kiana girl. Let me pin my comments. I hope you are doing well. There she is. Hi.
Hi, sis.
I love the energy. Like,
Girl,
it's
feel like
the
you just
enthusiasm for me.
have to give yourself. You got to tell yourself, "I'm here and I'm ready, girl."
How are you? How's the baby?
Baby is great. He is huge. My daycare lady told me yesterday. She was like, "He's like the size of a 1-year-old." I said, "Girl, and he's only 8 months, and I just can't. You know, I got 4 more months till this little man is 1 years old. I can't. I don't have it, Tatum. So." But he's wonderful. He is wonderful. Getting big and chunky.
I was a wreck around the first birthday, and I was like, "You're practically going to college." Like,
College, girl. I mean, I think about him like while he's now pulling up on stuff, and I'm like, how? Where you were just literally on my chest. But yes, so he's doing good. He's doing really good. Thank you for asking, girl. How are you?
I'm doing good. I just got back from a trip over the weekend. I'm doing good. Getting back into the swing of things. Tired, so I definitely had some coffee before we got on. But I'm good. I'm excited to talk
Good.
about
Yes.
Christian, your experience with Anchor Media. So for those of you guys who are just joining us, my company Anchor Media, we have a retreat coming up in December. This week, Lord. I pinned it all in the comments because I'm still tired. But this week, August 26th at 7 p.m., we have our open house. And our open house is where you just learn about Anchor Media, what we have to offer, our retreat, all of the things. But I wanted to talk to Rosalind today because Rosalind is a Find Your Voice Academy, Anchor Media OG.
Everything.
OG. She was at the very first retreat that we did back in 2019. And one of the things that I love to tell people when it comes to like working with us in our retreat is that it's a long-term investment. So you're not just paying to come to the event and then going home. Like the things that we talk about give you a longevity and really a head start if you're just starting your podcast, or it just catapults you into a new level once with the show if you already had one coming to us. So I just want to catch up a little bit.
Yes, girl, because there's so many things that have happened.
Yes. So let's start with, since we last spoke, because we did one of these before, since we last spoke, which I don't even remember when that was, but since we last spoke, how has your podcast grown?
Girl. Okay, so first of all, let me just share the Lipton with y'all. Tatum is the podcast godfather.
Can I be a little bit more classy than Lipton?
Okay, my bad. Okay, let me be prepared. Let me just share with y'all that Tatum is the podcast godfather. I will never understand what goes on in Sis's brain when it comes to podcasting, because the tips that she has utilized, I have implemented and my podcast has grown. So backtrack, I started my podcast in 2018, end of 2018, went to Tatum's retreat, November 2019. At the time, my podcast was probably around, I was getting probably around like 1,000 to 2,000 listens a month. I think last month, Tatum, we hit like 13K, around 13K listens, downloads. Praise God. I don't even know what I'm doing sometimes, but he just does. I just be like, okay, Lord, just do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
So since then, my podcast has grown tremendously since working with her team. Not only that, but since being a part of the network,
Mm-hmm.
I have been able to gain marketing strategies that I probably would have never been consistent in doing, or even known to understand what's the importance of that, because I went to school for therapy. I didn't go to school for business. So I don't know anything about how to market, what is the purpose of marketing, and also what helps drive people to a podcast. And so podcasting is way more than just getting on a microphone and talking for an hour. Or if you rant for an hour, it's very strategic. It's very specific. It is so important to have a plan when you are recording your podcast. Have notes, have calls to action, which are basically telling your people where to go to find stuff, especially if you want to utilize your podcast for business, which is basically what has grown my business in the last 2 years. I recently transitioned into full-time entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Y'all, and I will tell you, it is literally the only reason, besides the Lord himself, okay? But
Mm-hmm.
part of the reason that was even possible was because of podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
Podcasting allowed me to build community, which of course allows me to then share what I know with my community. And I do not believe that would have been possible if it was not for that. Also, podcasting allows me to share my expertise. It's helped me to share with my audience and be transparent. And truly, people need what we offer. You have some expertise in something that you could help your audience with. So that is what has shifted. I've had my baby. I'm able to be home. He's at daycare, okay? Because that's not staying at home mom. That's just not my ministry child. Okay, so he's at daycare. I pick him up, but I'm able to be off when he's home. And I was able to do a lot of that through building community with my podcast. So everything Tatum talked about, y'all, I give her roses all the time. She knows what she's talking about.
Yes. So what are some of the, going back to, I know we mentioned the network, but even going back to the retreat, are you think some of those original things we talked about in 2019?
Yes. So the beautiful thing about the retreat is Tatum really also gives you a lot of the strategic side of podcasting, but she gives you an in-depth view of some places, and I don't know really nothing else but your stuff, but people may just tell you how to set up a podcast, and that's fine and dandy, but you need to be able to know how to do it long term. And so she talks about email marketing. She talks about funnels. She talks about identifying your target market. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought target market was, oh, I want to talk to Black women. And it's no, girl. There's a lot of Black women, but they all got different things going on. And so identifying who you really want to talk to and your people. I'm a little bit, ratchet. I tell people all the time, I have a little bit of a little gangsterness in me, okay? You know what I'm saying? But I love me some Jesus, and nobody could ever tell me that ain't my daddy. I want to talk to those women who have that personality. They want to be themselves and authentically love God and share him. And so I didn't know that was a market. I didn't know that was a focus point. She also talks to you about the finances part of business and podcasting, which you will not get in any other place. And so learning and taking all those things from the retreat have helped me. I still create funnels. I'm always thinking of, if I put this out, where are they going? If I share something, what's the area that my people are going to? If I have a podcast, where am I driving them to? How do I keep in contact with my community constantly? And so that has helped me to really just stay consistent. And then when I joined the academy following the retreat, the academy helped. And we ain't got to all that, so I'm jumping ahead of you, sis.
Go ahead.
Okay, but the academy taught me just really how to strategically build a show. And it would show us in one episode like titles and show notes and why all those things are important, having your links correct, like knowing what to put in the show notes, like all of those things matter because you want to make it as easy as possible for people to get to whatever they need to get to from what you're talking about in your show. So I still use all those to this day. The titles of the show, I still use that to this day. And that was in the academy in like literally top of 2020. So still use it to this day.
So have you seen or talk to us about the shift in your audience engagement from doing the show and then implementing our strategy? How did your audience engagement change?
So one of the things that Tatum always kind of taught us was to engage our audience by empowering them to share the episode, to write reviews on the episode, share on social media, tag them. And additionally with engagement, it has helped me to also get a bird's eye view of what my audience wants to hear. I literally had a girl write me in my DMs and said, "Hey, Rosalind, can you give advice on grieving friendships and losing friendships?" And I was like, in my brain, in my own personal brain, I'm not thinking that this could be an issue. Because my audience likely knows and trusts me, they know that they can ask those questions, and then I can make that into a whole episode that addresses a need for somebody. And so engagement is just creating genuine, like Tiffany. Tiffany is my girl. We be in the DMs, Kiki and Hi. She's listening to my podcast. I know her name. I know her. I can talk to her. And so engagement is knowing that we're in relationship. It's way beyond just me speaking on the microphone.
Because a lot of people, well, with podcasting, it's impersonal in a sense because you're talking to yourself and you're uploading it to the internet, but there's so much value and there is a strategy too to be able to build that relationship with your audience when you're not talking to them back and forth one-on-one. That's something that you have to be very intentional about, and as you do that, your audience then becomes invested in your show, so they do those things naturally, like sharing it, writing reviews, putting it in their group chats. I had one of our November retreat attendees. She sent me a video. Somebody did a whole live off of her podcast episode. And now she's being exposed to this person's community because of what she said on her show. And that's going to increase her listenership. I've had people do, you know how they do like book clubs? I've had people do pod clubs and discuss my podcast, like come together. There's somebody sent me a flyer. They were getting together, and I wish I was local because I would have went. Because I'm like, can I hug y'all? Like, good. I didn't know that this was a thing.
Girl, if this panini was not happening right now, I would be literally planning a brunch. I've been talking about this brunch forever, you know what I'm saying? But like literally, I just want to hug every last one of them.
Yep. And then having that engagement then spills over into funneling them into whatever your business and things are. So can you talk about not only increasing that engagement as far as your interaction, but how that's translated to sales in your business?
So there have been and that's a whole thing where, especially if you're a podcaster that's starting, you just have to put out whatever God tells you to do. Pick the lowest hanging fruit and put it out. You don't have any understanding sometimes as to why you're doing it. He just will tell you to do stuff, especially if you're a podcaster for the Lord. You just got to do it. For me, there were many things that I didn't understand at the time why God was like right now. I'm launching my Time with God challenge. I started that before I came to your retreat. And so that has from listenership has translated into me creating things that really address a specific need even further that help long term. And so from doing that, that has translated into money, that has translated into financial gain. Those things help me then be able to do them even more and triple and double and all of those kinds of things. And so it's really about me and how I can use whatever gifts God has given me to address a problem. And it's more than just me talking on the microphone. How can I even touch you even further? How can I make an impact, and how could God even expand the things in your life from just whatever he shares through what I do?
Mm-hmm.
And so from that being a business, I've been able to launch classes. I've been able to launch my program, which is beyond comprehension in my mind that I'm even doing. Like, it's just mind blowing to me. Because Tatum, I remember we were talking about this some months ago, and you were like, "Yeah, just launch it." And I'm like, "Ah, girl, what are you talking about, Tatum? No, what do you mean launch it?" And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, just launch it." Here's the thing. Let me pause and then come back. Tatum wants you to succeed so bad. She's gonna be like, what's the problem? Like, she's going to literally find every loophole and be like, what's the issue? Can
Because
you just do it?
I don't see the problems that you saying.
Right. So with that being said, like, it blows my mind, and that has expanded to so many other things, to where God has literally and all the other thing. I'm gonna go preachy for a second. I'm gonna come back. God is always going to give us vision. Why? Because we're his kids. He loves to share things with us. He is a dad. He literally is like super excited and just always wants to share things with his kids. You're not going to have the ABCD 1, 2, 3. You're just going to have to start and do it. And so because of that, it's just starting and doing it has expanded the territory. It has expanded the things that I'm doing, which now allows me to be able to work full time in this. And it's a true honor to do. It literally don't feel like work.
Yeah.
It's work, but
Mm-hmm.
it don't feel like work sometimes.
And I'm glad you touched on that, because a lot of people, what stops them is they think they have to have it all figured out before getting started, and you literally don't. The
You
benefit of
won't.
zero with listeners is you can make mistakes before you're on a bigger platform. Get all the mistakes out early and just get used to practicing, get used to being comfortable on the mic, getting used to speaking in a way that gets people to the next step of your funnel. Like, this is the best time because ain't nobody listening yet. And then by the time the listeners come, you're a lot more polished, you're a lot more confident, the audio quality is a lot better, but people really it's a mindset shift that has to be made to be confident in just starting at step one. And can you talk about that? Did you ever experience maybe imposter syndrome or anything like that when it came to the show?
First of all, my audio quality was trash in the beginning. I used to be on my podcast like, "Oh, y'all, the train is passing by." But, "Oh God, hold on, y'all, the train." I know y'all hear the train. I know y'all hear the train because I literally live across the street from the train. I would rant for an hour just talking, talking. I didn't even want to go back to those episodes. But they resonated with people. That's what grew. Tiffany, tell the people the train was there, sis. Okay, it's a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I felt like an imposter. I felt like a fraud. I felt like there were many times, especially when I was having my rough seasons with God, when I was in my wilderness season. It's like, God, why are you making me talk?
Mm-hmm.
I am over here crying to you, not having the energy or feeling full to share. What is it that I have to share with people? Why am I even doing this? A lot of questioning, is this even helpful? A lot of questioning, is what I offer valuable? And it wasn't really until, because there are different levels, I feel like, to imposter syndrome. I feel like there's a thing you're always working to work through to get to in confidence. Unless you're just a confident person overall, you're very solid in your identity. But if you're working through that, that is something you do. And so it really wasn't until God helped me understand my own purpose and my part in this as I was doing it, because you learn as you do it. And so that's why there's never a perfect time. You'll always be waiting if you're thinking that there's going to be a perfect time. And so I would say just do it regardless. And again, you're learning from like one of the best, period. Okay. And the Lord of Heaven's armies is behind us. So why not?
Yeah.
Why not? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So yeah.
That's good. So now you are on our network,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people don't really know about the network because it's invitation only. And the first step to working with Anchor Media is through Find Your Voice Academy. It's
Yes.
the
Yes.
academy, and then as shows just continue to grow, then we have other options, but that's more so of just the internal growth or graduation period of shows. can you talk about just how Anchor Media has continued to benefit you even after the academy?
So, okay, so yes, so I'm a part of the network. I literally just talked to your sister literally last week. I love her, by the way. She is literally, I love her so much. Anyway, so the network has literally shown me and has given me a space to ask the direct questions to grow my podcast, because as I've been podcasting, you get burnt out, you get, tired, you get to the points where you have kind of capped on your ideas. And so having a place to talk those things out has just been extremely helpful. Also, just again, having the ability to refine what you've already learned and finding ways to again expand listenership, expand your message, expand your reach. The other thing with that is you get just a knowledge base in something that you aren't very like. I know podcasting because I do it, but just even more because podcasting is an ever growing market. Like everybody now has a podcast. When I started in 2018, I mean, it was new, but it wasn't like what it is now. And so you get the knowledge from Tatum, who knows this market very well. And then other ways to monetize, like just ideas beyond ideas to monetize, because we're infiltrated with everybody else's business and their process. Sometimes you just need a space to talk about what can I do in this moment that's going to help me move the needle forward in my business and in my podcast. It's going to expand it. So Tatum has really talked to me about stepping to more the expert, which I was not comfortable with, sis. I was like, I'm just going to talk about me. I'm talking about me. But it's like, you know what? I get old after a while. I'm very boring. Okay. I'm very boring. How can I do that? So that's been expanding testimonials from other people, like getting them on the podcast to talk about different topics, and just adding more variety that really, really feeds and helps the audience that's listening. And really just, what is it that I need to do that's going to continue to help God's people? Yeah. And so the network is really just a even more close-knit work with Tatum and her team, which are like, y'all saw them at the last retreat working. Kyla is the GOAT. She's marketing genius. Okay. So you get all of that interaction and you really, really get to engage with them. And that's really, really, Tamisha made my logo for Show Up Sis. That was something I was able to have access to, not through the network, but just privately from knowing her. So that was just, so all of these things have been so helpful for my personal business.
Yes, I love it. So right now with social media, it's a big thing with TikTok is the number one viewed platform right now. And so of course, Instagram and Facebook are trying to figure out how to adjust to get people on these platforms. So it's this constant battle of the networks, which makes it a constant battle for us as content creators to create things that are going to allow us to be seen with these algorithms. As soon as you feel like you got a little bit a headway, you got to go back to the drum.
Yes, girl.
Constantly.
Yes, girl.
And it can be very frustrating for a lot of content creators. And I know for me, that's why I'm glad I got into podcasting when I did, because I ain't trying to do all that. So can you talk a bit about how podcasting has kind of alleviated that stress of having to keep up with social media?
Oh my God, that's a phenomenal question. I would have never even thought about, sis. Okay, so yes, podcasting has been my home base for my audience. So if I randomly am like, hey y'all, I'm going to go take a month off of Instagram, I can still talk to them on a podcast and through my email list. I'm not tied to this area. Second thing is, and this has really been the biggest blessing. Second thing is, podcasting is free content. I just have to get on a microphone and talk and engage. That's free content. That's not lost in the algorithm. That's not lost from having to make extra steps to search, scroll down my timeline, or just be encrusted in social media. It's a free place where they can go to have my voice and be able to get whatever message the Lord has put on my heart to give. That is so valuable, y'all, as a business owner, to direct people to a place and say, here's where you can get tons of free content, always have access to all of the products because it's on a website. It's not lost again in the algorithm. It's not lost again on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all these other places. You can always direct people to a podcast. And that is a place where you can share your message. You can do teachings. You can do everything on that. And that is probably one of the best things. It's free. Like, I'm sharing content freely. I'm not charging you for it. I'm not having to pry your fingers to go anywhere to go get it. It's literally free. And that's marketing. That's always marketing to go back to, and I can, again, it creates a funnel to go to other things if I decide to do that. So it's by far amazing. If I ever decide to take 2 months off Instagram, I could do that and still be able. Tatum, I was still putting podcasts up when I was on my maternity leave with Elijah. Was not in front of a microphone, but had planned it, and y'all still got an episode every week.
Yep. And the great thing about it is it's long form content that you can then change to fit the algorithm. So you have this now home base that gives you 100% access to your audience, but you can still come on this platform and play the game that's outlined for you. Just
exactly.
It. Take the clips, turn those clips into reels. Now you're fitting in their thing. Take a clip, put it as an IGTV, post it on your feed, post it in your stories. You can take this and make it fit the algorithm, but you're able to be a lot less stressed in the content creating process by making it specific.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So
yes.
It's such a, and I don't even even trying to look ahead with podcasting. I don't even personally see right now how an algorithm can be created for it, because it's online and there's no parent company. You have different hosts and things of that nature, but the way it's even foundationally set up, there's no puppet master. And that's what I love about it, because it gives you that freedom to just show up and speak. I suggest video, but if you don't want to be on video, you could be at home with your hair, your bonnet on. Don't nobody know.
No one will know, sis. Believe me, I've done it multiple times. No one will know.
Yeah. So to wrap up, though, what would you tell somebody who is on the fence about coming to the retreat or working with Anchor Media?
Listen, so I will toot Tatum's horn, period. Okay, y'all. Again, I went from when I first started working with them around 2,000 listens a month to now around 13,000 listens a month. The second thing is my podcast has charted continuously over the last month-ish, maybe a little month and a half, on top 100 in the mental health category. I didn't even know to switch my podcast over to mental health until I worked with her. She was like, oh, you need to switch over to mental health. And I was like, okay, girl. It's charted, okay? Do not, and here's the thing, investment is way more than just money. Investment collapses time. Tatum's gifts and her team collapsed time for me that I would have never gotten back. I would have been spinning my wheels on YouTube University, looking crazy at these folks who, okay, I need to hear the voice of the Lord come down from heaven and touch me and say, hey, do this. Okay, thanks, girl. That's what I needed. Thanks. So if you, investment is way more than just money. Don't even look at that. Let me even say this. I've made my money back plenty of times. Period, from just making investment. And here's the thing. It's not even about that. It's about the impact that is happening. There are people who literally have said to me, I started therapy and started my healing process from listening to your podcast. Your podcast made me realize that I can be my authentic, vulnerable self with God. That is something you can't get in the four walls of a church. Well, I can't say that. You probably could. You probably could get in the four walls church, but the ability for Holy Spirit to lead somebody somewhere and say, hey, listen to this, and their lives is changed. That's only the hope. That's only God. So I went on a whole nother tangent. You just need to join, okay? You know what I'm saying? Completely. You just need to join. Don't hesitate. Don't feel like you got to question yourself. If you question it, just hop out the boat, sis. Just be like Peter. You know what I'm saying? Just hop out and be like, hey, Jesus, I want to walk to you. Go get your life. So yes, Absolutely. And you are literally signing up with people who are extremely knowledgeable, extremely, like, again, Tatum wants you to succeed so bad. She's going to be like, there's no loophole. Just do it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
Well,
that's what I would say.
Rosalind, I'm going to record this and post this everywhere. You sell it, okay?
You know, I told you I will toot podcast Godfather. I got you. We just need to get you some rings, and then you'll be complete. You know what I'm saying?
Rings. Really?
Yeah, we did. You know, the Godfather, they had the rings on their heads, and like, here I am. You know, they sit back in the chair.
I went, man.
Right, exactly. Shout out to Memphis.
Well, you guys, we have our open house coming up on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Link in the bio to register. So, of course, it's completely free to just learn about Anchor Media, what we have to offer, all of the things. I'm cracking up at the comments.
Come on, T-Money. Yes, T-Money.
Thank you guys for...
Is that your sister?
Yeah, that's Jaleesa.
Hi, Jaleesa. I love her so much. We are friends. Okay.
That is funny. Thanks, Tiffany. I'm so chill. People listen to the podcast and think I'm like super turnt all the time. No, that's just for that hour.
She is real chill, child. Real chill.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm like so loud.
All the time. All the time. Rosalind is a hoot. Okay. But always a good time. Always a good time. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see you at the open house next week.
Bye.